and they'll take it all away again in paragraphs 17, 18, 19, and 20. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, then you're setting yourself up to be scammed, or at the very least to not get the best possible deal that you could have gotten had you had proper advice or gone in with your eyes open. So, when people complain about being taken advantage of, I feel bad for them. But then when you find out that they didn't bother even reading the contract, then you think to yourself, well, what kind of idiot is this anyway? Who does that? Who plays that kind of Russian roulette with his career and expects something good to come of it?
Right. I just think, some people, they just get blinded by, what they see, like the fame and the glitz and the glamour, and not really, get the full gist of how the business works, because as I always say, it's a business first and whatever you love to do second.
Well, it is a business, yeah. I mean, people aren't doing this for charity, and to imagine that they are is to be misinformed, is to be badly misinformed. And people get very upset about the concept of pay to play, for example. Out here in Los Angeles, there are clubs that require you to basically pay or sell 30 or 20 or however many tickets in order to get a slot at whichever venue you want to play at on Sunset Boulevard. And lots of musicians and artists bitch and complain about that. But the truth is, these guys aren't in business as a charity for artists, okay? They're in the business of selling beer, and they have to pay their rent. And if an artist comes in and doesn't bring anybody to buy a ticket or buy drinks, then basically the club owner is acting as a charity, and that's not something that they're prepared to do. Mm-hmm. And, understanding the business from a club owner's point of view will go a long way toward helping any artist achieve his goals. If an artist understands that he's got to bring at least 10 or 20 paying customers and not bitch and complain about it, then he's going to be much more likely to be invited back, for a repeat performance. And that's basically what it comes down to, is understanding how other people make money and helping them to accomplish what they need to accomplish so that you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. And when everybody's making money, then everybody's happy. And that's the best possible deal. A good deal is not I make money and you make none. A good deal is let's figure out how we can both make money.
Right. I definitely agree with that. And now they state that on the NARIP website that you have to Rolodex the size of an SUV.
That is correct.
Wow, that's like a lot of connects. Mine's not at an SUV yet. Mine's is more like at a sedan or a Datsun or a hatchback or something like that.
Well, it's kind of a funny thing. This friend and colleague of mine says that my Rolex is the size of an SUV, and while he's technically correct, it's really not the size of it so much, but the quality of it that matters, okay? Because I don't call on people frivolously to ask for things like concert tickets or free records or anything like that. In fact, I make it a point not to call people for silly things like that. When I pick up the phone to make a call, I need something or a favor, I make it count. And conversely, I'll tell you something, my dear. I spend a lot of time calling people to find out how I can help them, okay? Every single day, I make time to call at least 3 people, particularly 1 or 2 who are maybe down on their luck, either sick or out of work or laid off, people who just need to hear a kind word. Make a call to help someone get a job, help someone with his resume. I do that every single day. And I'll tell you something that really earns you a lot of special consideration with those people when they bounce back, because most of them inevitably do. And so I put a lot of goodwill into my bank account, into my savings, okay, so that I have something to withdraw on a rainy day. And that, to me, is a really critical aspect of surviving and doing well and building great relationships in this business. It's figuring out what it is you can do to help other people and not just being on the take all the time and saying, what's in it for me? What have you done for me lately, baby?
Mm-hmm. Now, who are some of the members of NARIP?
Who are some of the members?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if I should mention names, but we have members at all of the major labels and many, many, many independent labels. You can see a sampling of our members if you go to our website. Shall I give folks the URL?
Go ahead.
Okay. If you go to www.n, as in Nancy, ARIP, NARIP as in Paul.com. That's NARIP.com. Stands for the National Association of Record Industry Professionals. You'll find profiles of a bunch of our members there if you look in the member profile section, and you can see what the average member sort of looks like. I mean, what's interesting about the state of the business now is that there are a lot more independents out there than ever before. A lot of people with their own little labels, their own little publicity firms, marketing firms, internet marketing, consulting, that sort of thing. A lot of these people have either been laid off from the major labels or they quit in disgust and have started companies of their own. So what we're seeing is a trend toward independence not only on the music side but also on the professional side, with more and more small companies kind of coming out of the woodwork. And that's really great because it gives an independent artist a lot to choose from, and these services tend to be a lot more affordable, and it's much preferable, if you ask me, to be able to pick and choose the services that you actually need, as opposed to signing on to a record deal and handing over the ownership of your masters and most or all of your publishing for the rest of your life, which is essentially what a major label deal is going to ask of you. And these days, with the 360 deals and the sort of advent of those kinds of arrangements, I mean, you're lucky if you ever get anything back. You know, you're going to sign over practically your entire life and the next 10 generations of your children. Mm-hmm. And you know, and a label will make the argument, well, we're investing a lot of money in you. It takes at least $1 million to get anything going with a new artist these days, and so that's a compromise that you may have to make. But I just caution people to be clear on what it is they want and to be sure to read the fine print so there are no unpleasant surprises 1 or 2 years down the road if things don't quite work out as you planned.
Mm-hmm, because we all know about what happened with Prince and the bitter fight with Warner Brothers and everything, and scrawled slave over the face, and then once his contract with Warner Brothers expired, he went back to being Prince because I think he maintained ownership of his masters and everything after his contract with Warner Brothers expired.
Well, yeah, and, you know, George Michael had a similar upset. You know, he tried to get out of his contract with Columbia, and it happens. And you know, I don't know all of the particulars of each of the deals. I mean, I know some of the stuff that went on behind the scenes, but a lot of it is positioning, too. And if an artist dislikes his label so much, he's going to get out probably no matter what. But usually not without a great deal of expensive litigation. And from the label's point of view, if they've invested so much in an artist, they certainly are justified, in my opinion, to try to get their money back in some way, shape, or form. And so, you know, in my opinion, the best kinds of deals are step deals, okay? Step as in STEP, which means that